Welcome to the very first episode of Controversial Discussions with Prophet Pope. Seeing as how this is the very first episode, I kind of want to start off with an introduction, kind of telling you guys who I am. And with doing so, understanding my background, I feel like will give you more insight of who I am as well. So I'm going to talk about my background, my upbringing a little bit, church affiliation. I'm then going to talk about why I've decided to, talk about this. First things first, I want to make this clear. This is not an easy subject for me to talk about. It's gotten easier, but it's a very sensitive subject. And so I just want to make that clear. I'm not here, not due to disrespect anybody, upset anybody. It's just basically giving you a perspective on some things. And like I said, I want to give you a little bit of background about me. I am in my 30s. Okay. I feel like I'm getting old a little bit, but I was born in Mississippi, Meridian, Mississippi to be exact. I come from a family of Seventh-day Adventists. I am a generational Seventh-day Adventist to be exact. Great-grandmother was in the church. She actually was one of the first members that built the church in Meridian, Mississippi. My grandmother, Seventh-day Adventist. My mother, Seventh-day Adventist, so subsequently that makes me a Seventh-day Adventist, or made me a Seventh-day Adventist, or so forth. I grew up a Seventh-day Adventist. You get what I'm saying. My stepfather, he is a pastor. So mom married a pastor, which makes me a PK. And he's a generational Adventist as well. His father was a pastor as well. So kind of let you know that about me. Growing up Adventist, I did attend Adventist starting in elementary, not the very beginning of elementary, but in elementary all the way up through high school. I was in private school for in the Adventist church, and then I went to college to an Adventist church. To an Adventist school as well, before joining the military and kind of getting away from some of that. As I said, it's not something that's easy for me to talk about, but we're going to talk about it. So, first, I just want to break down what Seventh-day Adventist is. A lot of people don't understand what Seventh-day Adventist is. First off, Seventh-day Adventist is a Protestant-based church, Christian church. There are some differences, but it is a Protestant-based church, which that's a whole nother thing, trying to get into all the differences. There are some differences, though. That's like a whole nother episode. May talk about that in a different episode, or show, whatever you want to call this, podcast. I'm just on here doing it. So anyways, it basically it was founded in 1863. It came from it was called the Millerite movement, where they tried to predict the second coming of Christ. And so they predicted the second coming of Christ was going to be October the 22nd, 1844. And so basically they was waiting on him to come in. They was on the roof, all that kind of good stuff. when Christ did not arrive. They call that day what they call the Great Disappointment. Now, out of that movement, the Seventh-day Adventists emerged. Okay, and so to understand, I guess, what Seventh-day Adventist means, or what it is, you have to break it down into two different terminology. I mean, two different words to make it easier. It's Seventh Day and then Adventist. So to break down what Seventh Day is, where they get that from, Seventh-day Adventists believe that Saturday is the seventh day, and so any Adventists know, if you've been to an Adventist church or grew up in an Adventist church, one thing that they drill into your head is the fourth commandment, and it says to remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son. Anyways, I'm not going to say the whole thing. But growing up in the church, that was something we said religiously. Said it every week in church. So, and therefore, it's drilled in my head. It's still in there. I know it. I just memorized it because it's repetition. But that's what they believe. They believe that the seventh day is Sabbath. And so they believe, or the calendar starts on Sunday, ends on Saturday, and Saturday is the seventh day. And so they observe Saturday because the fourth commandment tells you that is the holy day. And so, and just to kind of get a little more specific, they celebrated from Sunset Friday to Sunset Saturday. That's a day. That's the day that's when you observe it. So Sunset Friday is when it begins, and then Sunset Saturday. And again, that's just kind of a broad spectrum of what it is and what Seventh-day Adventist means. The second part is the Advent. Basically, what Advent means is the second coming. Okay, so out of that movement, of course, we had Prophet Ellen G. White. She's one of the pillars and basically one of the founders of the church. James White, her husband. We founded this church that came out of there, and so basically, what happened? They said, "Hey, he didn't come back," and they came for a reason, saying, "Hey, he went from the holy place to the most holy place," something like that. That's what they said. And so, out comes this new church called the Seventh-day Adventist. And like I said, the Advent means the second coming, and so therefore we have the Seventh-day Adventists. So they worship on the seventh day of the Sabbath, and they believe in the second coming of Christ. All right. So, kind of giving you a little more background. Like I said, I'm from Mississippi, so I'm from the deep South, and which religion is really strong. So, I was always taught not to question God, and it was all in God's hands, basically. And if you question God, you get in trouble. I mean, that could really seriously get you in trouble. Now, I have grown, and I have tried to learn to critically think and have actually reasons to believe what I believe. And so, not of any fault of my parents, or mom, grandmother, anybody, or any disrespect or anything like that. I just have to tell my truth and what I believe is the truth. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just sharing it with you guys, but I wanted to give you guys a background of who I am, or where I come from, so that you understand who I am, and how honestly it just wasn't a switch over. Now, why am I making these videos? Give you a little bit of background. First, I want to say that I don't know everything. Okay, I don't claim to know everything. I don't claim to be a genius. I just claim to be me. Okay? And so I want to put that out there. So I don't think I'm no expert in anything other than being who I am. Expert, I would say, in being raised in a Christian home, being raised in an Adventist home, which, again, there's a lot more to it than just saying we went to church on Saturday and we believed in a second coming. So there's some other key differences or things that are in there that they're just, that I'm just trying to give you a broad spectrum. Basically, so the reason I'm doing this basically is I want to educate people. And people hit me up all the time that tell me, hey, thank you for asking some of the questions that you've asked. I've always had that question, but I was taught, of course, never to question God, and so therefore they're afraid to ask the questions. And so they always thank me for asking these questions and for addressing some of these issues that they've always had. Now, I know this is not for everybody. Not everybody's going to like it. Okay, cool. You don't like it, I understand. You despise me, okay, I get it. But leave a comment below. You don't have to like me. I get it. I'm not a bad person. Good person, actually. And so, honestly, it'd be your loss not to like me or not to, I don't know. Y'all get what I'm saying. Hey, I'm going to be me. So, that's the main reason. I just want to educate people. People ask me, where do I start? I don't know where to start to even look at this stuff and all that kind of good stuff. So, like I said, I'm no expert, but I have done research. I am an expert in being a Seventh-day Adventist raised child, growing up in the church deeply. I am an expert at that. But I have learned, researched other religions. I know a little bit about the Pentecostal church. Looked a little bit into the Black Israelites. And so, while I'm not, expert at all religions, I do try to use critical thinking in anything that comes my way or that I try to believe. Like I said, I have to have reason to believe it. And so, therefore, I want to educate. That's the main thing. Give you my perspective. Like I said, you might not like it. That's what it is. So, the other reason that I want to make the video is because, quite honestly, I don't like bullies. And a lot of times I feel as though people are scared to ask these questions now because people are going to bully them or treat them differently. I feel as though people use their religion to bully people. They bully them for their lifestyle because others aren't what they want them to be. I don't understand that. Be you. Don't worry about what other people are doing, but be you. Stop trying to force your ideal, your belief, you get what I'm saying, onto other people, and then tell them that if they don't do that, then they're going to die. I don't understand how you don't see that as bullying. Hey, because you like somebody of the same sex, you're going to die with fire because it's an abomination. And I understand some of you guys try to work your way out and say, oh, well, I didn't say that. God said that. I ain't heard him say nothing. That's you saying it. You just hiding behind it, trying to say, oh, well, he's saying it. Okay? And it's crazy. But I used to be a Bible thumper, though. I used to go around with the Bible and hit people upside the head with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if you don't conform to this, or if you don't do this way, you're going to hell. And that's cruel, to be honest with you. I don't even understand it, how people can live and feel as though they are dirty, born into sin, and therefore they are filthy as rags, and they're dirty, and so therefore they have to prove themselves to this person. Or how people live their lives. I get it, I was there, but now that I'm understanding and critically thinking, people are living their lives with the intent to get into another life. Do you get what I'm saying? You're living this life with every sole and purpose to get into another life that you don't even know if it's really there. I'm just saying. So, that's one of the reasons I'm doing it, you know. I also got to understand that even when I started this, controversial discussions, even on Facebook, I had to kind of self-evaluate myself as well. Because even though I started talking about it, it was almost like I was thumping people back upside the head with the Bible. And in actuality, sometimes you got to be thumped a little bit. And so, I had to learn to kind of bring myself back. And so here we are. I'm here to talk about controversial discussions. One other reason I want to do this is because a lot of times religion and things in religion separate family. Like for real, like people will not talk to you no more because you do not believe as they believe. That's it. Oh, you don't believe that? I can't talk to you no more. I can't be around you no more. You must be a bad person. Like, really? Which I'm gonna get on that topic too. That's another whole nother discussion. Like I said, if you go Facebook, you'll see. You can go to controversial discussions. We talk about everything in there, really. We talk to each other in a respectful manner, and it has to stay respectful. That's what it is. And so, one other reason, like I said, I'm doing this is because it separates families. I had somebody tell me once about a story. Just a quick story. That her brother decided that he no longer believed in the mother's religion. Well, he decided to go over to the house one day to visit his mother with his kids. Kids like 4, 5, 6 in that area, maybe up to 8. And the mother told them to get off her porch, kicked them off the porch, told them that they were demons. Told them they were little demons, told them they had to get out the house, get off the porch, and kicked them away. Their own grandmother. So these kids are having to see their own grandmother tell them that they are evil. That's crazy. I'm sorry. To me, that's crazy. Now, I know some of you guys are like, well, I ain't doing all that. I understand. If it don't apply to you, don't get your panties in a bunch. But I know some of y'all are going to get your panties in a bunch anyways. Like I said, hey, Prophet Poe. I got an episode later on to tell you why I call myself Prophet Poe. Because I know some of y'all are, really squirming like, why is it call himself Prophet Poe? He's a heretic. He's XYZ. Hey, cool, whatever. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. It is what it is. Now, with that being said, if you're coming at me to give me some information, make sure that you have proof. If you have proof, I have no problem listening to you. If it's just something you think of or made up in your head, then I might not listen to you very much. Make sure you have proof. That's all I'm asking for. Like, real proof. Demonstrative proof. This water, I believe this water is here. I can show you this water. Anyways, we're going to get to some other stuff one day. I plan on trying to do this maybe once a week, put out shows. So those who want to learn or want to hear or interested, let me know. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do, share. But thanks for listening. I always want to leave on a positive note. No matter what you believe in, make sure that at the end of the day, you believe in yourself. Simple as that. All right?